Hi guys, today we have a book about Native Americans, the legend of the Bluebonnet. The Bluebonnet is a kind of very beautiful blue flowers. When they grow all across the mountains, they're really beautiful. So let's start. The legend of the Bluebonnet. Great spirits, the land is dying. Your people are dying too. The long line of dancers sang. Tell us what we have done to anger you. End this drought. Save your people. So a drought is when a place hasn't rained for a very long time and it's been really dry and people don't have enough water. Tell us what we must do so you will send the rain that will bring back life. They are trying to ask for rain. For 3 days, the dancers danced to the sound of the drums, and for 3 days, the people called Comanche watched and waited. And even though the hot winter was over, no healing rains came. They were all waiting for the rain. Did it come? No. Drought and famine. Famine is hunger when people have been hungry for a very long time. Are hardest on the young and the very old. Among the few children left was a small girl named She Who Is Alone. She sat by herself watching the dancers. In her lap was a doll made of buckskin, a warrior doll. The eyes, nose, and mouth were painted on with the juice of berries. It wore beaded leggings and a belt of polished bone. On its head were brilliant, colorful blue feathers from the bird who cries, Jay, Jay, Jay. She loved her doll very much. Soon, She Who Is Alone said to her doll, the shaman will go off alone to the top of the hill to listen for the words of the great spirits. Then we will know what to do so that once more the rains will come and the earth will be green and alive so that we can plant. Again, she is hoping for the rain to come. The buffalo will be plentiful and the people will be rich again after the rain. So she prayed for the rain again. As she talked, she thought of the mother who made the doll, of the father who brought the blue feathers. She thought of the grandfather and the grandmother she had never known. They were all like shadows. It seemed long ago that they had died from the famine. The people had named her and cared for her. The warrior doll was the only thing she had left from those distant days. So she also was missing her parents and her grandparents. She wanted to see them. The sun is setting, the runner called as he ran through the camp. The shaman is returning. The people gathered in a circle and the shaman spoke. I've heard the words of the great spirits, he said. The people have become selfish. For years they have taken from the earth without giving anything back. The great spirits say the people must sacrifice. They must give up something. We must make a burnt offering of the most valued possession among us. The ashes of this offering shall then be scattered to the 4 points of the earth, the home of the winds. When this sacrifice is made, drought and famine will cease. Life will be restored to the earth and the people. So what is this person is saying is that people have been too selfish. We've been just like us nowadays, actually. We've been too selfish with the water that we've had, the sun, everything, even the money, the books. Sometimes we forget to be grateful. We forget that water is limited. We don't always get water. We don't always get food. It seems so, but not always. And if we keep wasting stuff like that, our earth will not be happy. The people sang a song of thanks to the great spirits for telling them what they must do. I'm sure this is not my new bow, said the great spirits. That the great spirits want, a warrior said. Oh, my special blanket, a woman added, as everyone went to their tippies to talk and think over what the great spirit had asked. So they have to think about what is the most precious and valuable stuff among themselves and burn it. Everyone, that is, except she who is alone. She held her doll tightly to her heart. You, she said, looking at her doll, you are my most valued possession. It is you the great spirits want. And she knew what she must do. What do you think she had to do? As the council fires died out, as the teepee flaps began to close, the small girl returned, where she slept, to wait. The night outside was still except for the distant sound of the night bird with the red wings. Soon everyone in the teepee was asleep, except the little girl, called She Who Is Alone. Under the ashes of the teepee fire, one stick still glowed. She took it and quietly crept out into the night. Where is she going? She went to a place on the hill where the great spirit had spoken to the shaman. Stars filled the sky. Look at all the stars in the sky. But there was no moon. Oh, great spirits, She Who Is Alone said, here is my warrior doll. It is the only thing that I have from my family who died in this famine. It is my most valued possession. Please accept it. Please take it, she said. Then, gathering twigs, she started a fire with a glowing fire stick. The small girl watched as the twigs began to catch and burn. She thought of her grandmother and her grandfather, her mother and father and all the people, their suffering, their hunger. And before she could change her mind, she thrust the doll into the fire and burnt it. She watched until the flames died down and the ashes had grown cold. Then, scooping up a handful, the little girl called She Who Is Alone scattered the ashes to the home of the winds, the north and the east, the south and the west. And there she fell asleep until the first light of the morning sun woke her. She looked out over the hill and stretching out from all sides where the ashes had fallen. The ground was covered with flowers, beautiful flowers, as blue as the feathers in the hair of the doll, as blue as the feathers of the bird who cries, J, J, J. So these are blue bonnets. You see, they grow all over and they're very pretty. When the people came out of the teepees, they could scarcely believe their eyes. They gathered on the hill with She Who Is Alone to look at the miraculous sight. There was no doubt about it. The flowers were a sign of forgiveness. The spirits, the gods, finally decided to forgive the people for being too selfish. And as the people sang and danced their thanks to the great spirits, to the gods, a warm rain began to fall. Look at the rain. From that day on, the little girl was known by another name. Instead of being called She Who Is Alone, people now call her One Who Dearly Loved Her People. She loved her people so much that she could sacrifice, give up the one only thing that she loves the most. And every spring, the great spirits remember the sacrifice of a little girl and fill the hills and valleys of the land, now called Texas, with the beautiful blue flowers, even to this very day. So this is the story the legend of the Bluebonnet. And Texas is a place in America. One day you might visit it too. This is a very lovely legend of Native American, and I hope you have enjoyed it. Until next time, bye.